Afternoon, it's Joyful Christian Hermit. Well, I can't find Lenten Uplift number 13. So I'm going to do Lenten Uplift number 13 now, even though we're getting ready for number 19, I think it is, or 18 at least. But the Quiet Hermit, someone who goes by the handle The Quiet Hermit, left a message for me last night. Well, I saw it last night. Might have been left yesterday afternoon. But today, and so I've been taking last night to pray and think about an answer, and different ideas came. And also, I felt it was a test that Quiet Hermit was undergoing. It was a test. And by today, I was sure of it. And I had an answer already. And then I went to where his comment was, and it's no longer there. I think it's a he, took it down. Might be a she. Whoever, the Quiet Hermit had taken it down. But I left a message there. Anyway, in case the Quiet Hermit looks, probably won't look in comment sections of a video that, there's no comments on that one, in fact. But I'm going to make this the Lenten Uplift because it should uplift us, hopefully, that God gives us the strength and the wherewithal to discern things. And it also goes along with, and I'm not going to read it this time, but it was let me find it here. It's not Irenaeus. It's a sermon by St. Peter Chrysologus. But I'll read that another time. But it has to do with the scripture involving the Jewish people. Well, your master eats with sinners, now. Yes, well, we're all sinners. And what the Quiet Hermit was doing isn't really a sin at this point, but he was tempted. And he was starting to fall to it or feeling like he couldn't get out of it. And does what we all do. We have all kinds of justifications as to why. So I'll explain the situation because it's so good for all of us. And it's so human. But here is this psalm that I like, that I'll read as an intro to it. It's Psalm 103, just part of it, like verses 1 through 11, basically. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all my being. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. He pardons all your iniquities. He heals all your ills. He redeems your life from destruction. He crowns you with kindness and compassion. The Lord secures justice and the rights of all the oppressed. He has made known his ways to Moses and his deeds to the children of Israel. Merciful and gracious is the Lord, slow to anger and abounding in kindness. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so surpassing is his kindness toward those who fear him. So no matter what we've done, God is so merciful and kind. He understands us. He helps us. He teaches us. He guides us. He allows us more chances until, of course, at some point we'll be out. Or in this life, we won't. But then he gives us eternal life. So the Quiet Hermit is really quite an astounding hermit. Oh, far better than me as far as all of the standards go, He mentions that he doesn't, he lives a very quiet life in a lot of solitude, but this was his dilemma, or her dilemma. Quiet Hermit wrote, and part of this is what he wrote or she wrote. I'll just say QH, Quiet Hermit. So QH wrote that he or she had gotten tempted by New Age recently and felt bad about it. Of course, yeah, had gotten drawn off. So was writing sort of with saying what he had done or she had done and wondering how to remedy it. So this is the deal. Where this person lives, there was some kind of a New Age pagan concert. And he bought tickets, or she bought tickets for it. QH bought tickets for this New Age event, this concert. And QH mentions that can't get the money back for the tickets. So feels must use the tickets, must go to this pagan concert, and mentions that it isn't really the New Age aspects that QH likes or is curious about, but it's this guttural pagan aspect of the music and the artistry of it, the pagan aspects. So QH wants to go to it all the same, just to experience the guttural kind of visceral pagan aspects of this music that QH says he or she is drawn to. And, mentioned again, couldn't get the money back for those tickets, so has to use them. And, but that it was for the reason of liking the music that has this visceral human pagan element, even though QH says that he or she won't be affected by it and isn't going to involve with any of the New Age people there, just likes that the music, wants to experience that deep, visceral, earthly, pagan rawness of the music, some aspect of the music that feels that way. So anyway, I wanted to pray about it overnight, and I should have left a message. I'll answer, wait. I just didn't think he or she would, Quiet Hermit would, probably a her, would, I don't know, male or female, but and said hadn't written for a while because had gotten tempted and drawn into some New Age. And otherwise lives this hermit by standards of it, but the externals and things and the interior of limiting social and all that far more than me probably, because see the news is my thing and it's pain distraction. And I'm lazy, and that's an easy way to distract. But they have so much clickbait headlines that's deceiving that I'll think I'll learn something about someone who needs prayer, and instead it's just garbage, gossip, and it's like a gossip column. And I realize I do the same. I justify it, Well, it's more people I can pray for or understand situations. Well, no, I understand pretty much the categories in life. There was one article that was new for me, and that was a woman who drowned her dog in the airport bathroom, in the toilet. Her little white dog. I can say this in front of Love and Mercy. I already told them about it. Jokingly said, you guys had better be good. But no, she had an airplane ticket, looked like a poor person. And I think it was to another country maybe, or I don't know. But she isn't, it looks like she might be an immigrant of some sort, but had this little white dog, but got to the airport and didn't realize she could just take the dog on the plane. No, she had to make arrangements in advance. I think you have to pay an extra fee and all. And so she was very frustrated. They said, no, I'm sorry, you can't board. She was right at the boarding place wanting to go through with her dog and didn't have the paperwork that you have to do in advance. So she went into the restroom and she had brought her dog toys and it had a little collar with a tag and had its shots and everything and had its toys and evidently drowned it because an airport worker then came in to clean the bathroom and found all this water on the floor. And I think she had seen the woman leave. But then when she went to pick up the trash bag, and there were little bits of dog food on the floor too. Evidently the woman had, and treats, to maybe a farewell for the dog, to give it a treat or something. I can't imagine how hard it was for that poor woman to kill her dog. But she had to get on the plane, she felt. No option, and couldn't lose the money of the ticket, she felt. And didn't think to give the dog away to someone, or maybe no one would take it like that. But so drowned the poor. So the worker cleaned up the mess and didn't realize what had happened. But she picked up the trash to take out, and it was very heavy. And she looked inside, and there was this poor little dead dog, a little white dog, and went out, of course, and notified the authorities. And it was right across from the boarding area. And they quickly found out. She'd already gone on the plane, but they arrested her, found her and arrested her later, and are extraditing her back to, I think, the Orlando, Florida area to face charges. And they had her mugshot there, and she had tears in her eyes. I mean, just the trauma, think of it, to kill your dog so you could get on a plane. But I guess she felt she had no way other. Isn't that sad? So we do think, it's, wow, so that was a new one for me. But I later did wonder, Lord, did I need to read that? Probably not, but it sure distracted me from my bodily pain. And time passed, but I can get as excited or more and get so much good out of reading my books, see. But that does sort of give me more empathy for the quiet hermit who said he can't, he can't return these tickets because they won't refund his money or her money. But I realized today, praying about it, this is a test. This quiet hermit is being tested. And I'd written in my answer back, but I don't think quiet hermit will read it. But see, if it were me, it would be very easy, because God gave me such a firm warning back in, it was like February of 1987. And it was so strong a warning in the middle of the night that I called these New Age people that had, kept wanting me to join them for stuff, and said, don't ever call me again. I can't have anything to do with any of you. I'm sorry, go your way, but I can't have anything to do with New Age or any of it. And they tried to talk me into it. No. No, I said I could not. And I would not, and don't call me. Again, please, do not call me. And I knew their number, so I wouldn't have even answered. I was that firm, but that warning was so strong. It was, I knew. It was just over, and I had already felt creepy. Like Quiet Hermit felt creepy and knew he'd been tantalized by New Age lately and felt bad about it, but already had these tickets. Well, for me, it was an easy, I wouldn't go at all. But then I was praying, but what about this sense of this appeal to this visceral, earthly, pagan music that had a certain oomph to it, an emotion to it that appealed to Quiet Hermit in a artistic sense. That's what Quiet Hermit had written, that it was a musical, artistic, more of a scholarly kind of seemed like that, That was the draw of it, not anything of the New Age aspects of it, or being with a whole group of New Age people putting on this New Age performance with these pagan rituals music. It wasn't any of that was the point, but it was the quality of the music and that earthly, deeply human, visceral, sort of guttural, from our earliest instincts, pagan, that element of emotion. So I had remembered that I have a CD called Miss Aluba, and I don't have my CD player hooked up. Everything's covered. It's out there. The living room's not done yet. Hasn't been started, really. But I went onto YouTube, and I didn't look up Miss Aluba, that CD, but I found other African masses. Miss Aluba is the music of an African mass. And I like that. It is innate, and there's a quality to the music. They are very spiritually emotional. They dance, even the little children. They dance and they sing. And there's usually an older woman at some point in the music does this strange, it practically sounds like a bird crying out, or a chicken crying out, or it's very visceral, very earthy and natural, instinctual. And there's this joy. And then in the more serious parts, it's very serious in other parts. Mercy, can't right now, but I will soon. Anyway, I listened to that, and I did it as a prayer for Quiet Hermit. But I thought, I'm going to suggest this to Quiet Hermit. Listen to the African masses or other masses of cultures that are very different and also have roots deep. And because many things that even Old Testament, their rituals of like even burning human sacrifices, and the Mayan Indians too of Mexico, to make human sacrifices and infant sacrifices. All of that came from pagan and then got adopted into early Christian or Judaism in the Old Testament, and then of course went out with passage of time. And when it got into Christianity, evolved, people no longer did realize, well, no, that's like Abraham with Isaac. The angel of the Lord stayed his hand before he sacrificed his son. But of course, that's a type, an archetype of the type of Christ being sacrificed for us, dying on the cross for us, God's only son. But I thought this would be the music that would not be New Age, but had come from earlier ritual type music culturally, but had been utilized in Christian. So I thought, oh, good, I want to tell Quiet Hermit, try that to get your feel, your artistic desires fed of beautiful music, cultural, visceral, earthy, emotion, spiritual, but all to Christ, all to God, done all for God. And then also, and the outfits they wear, and the colors, and the drums, and all. And I'm sure even in, there would be maybe Celtic music also, or there's all kinds of old cultures that the music then has been adopted for Christian, for the Mass. So that was one thing. And I thought, if it were me, knowing it's a test, at first I thought, well, get a Facebook account and go to Facebook Marketplace and sell the tickets, even if you have to discount them. But then I thought, oh no, you don't want other people to go to a New Age thing. That God would not want other people to be tempted like that. The devil would like it. I thought, no, this is a test. Lose that money. Lose it. Lose that money of those tickets. Then I thought, burn them. Burn them as a sacrifice of praise, and have the ashes that will waft from burning those tickets. The ashes will sort of blow around a little bit, or rise or flutter around when things burn. Paper burns, and have that be a prayer to God of praise and a commitment never to get tempted. And also an apology for all the excuses that we make up as to why we still need to use those tickets, or for me, why I would still watch news, read news articles, and waste time and mental space on stuff that I already know to pray for people. Now, the one lady I will pray for, because a few days ago I'd read an article of a woman in Indiana. She was a foster mother, and she weighed something like 310 pounds and was like 5'3". Huge woman. And the 10-year-old foster son, had run away from home, or was threatening to. And she sat on him. She sat on his neck and upper chest to teach him a lesson, she said. And it suffocated it crushed him. It crushed his ribs, it crushed his shoulders, it crushed his neck, killed him. Suffocation and broke all his neck. 310 pounds on a 10-year-old boy. They said he weighed something like 68 or 70 pounds or something, not much. Killed him. She got 6 years in prison with 1 year committed. 1 year removed, parole for 1 year. So 5 years in prison for taking a life. And she was sorry about it, sorry she did it, and I think she had 7 children total. And of course, they came down on the system for even having a woman like that be a foster parent. Obviously didn't have good parenting skills, and didn't have control over her own body, her own discipline. And so, and the other kids, some of the kids reported, that she used them to get her food for her and clean up the dishes and things. So, just horrific. Here's this little boy dead. And already, didn't have parents, was in the foster system, was out of his own, away from his own mom or his own dad. And I thought, I just wonder how many years the woman who killed her dog will get. Because at the time when I read that other thing, I thought, a person who kills their dog would get 5 years in prison, maybe. But a human, So, I don't know, maybe in some sense God wanted me to pray for the injustice in the judicial system in certain situations. Obviously, the woman didn't have any other complaints against her. I doubt she could drive, weighing that much and being that short. Plus how heavy, because she was huge around. To be 5'3" and weighed like 310 pounds. So, and then there's this other woman then that killed her dog because she had to get on the plane. I don't know why, but felt she had no way out. But anyway, justify things like Quiet Hermit thinks he's got to go. He can't waste those tickets. We justify things, but yet Quiet Hermit had this sense felt it and got out of New Age that he'd been tempted into, and then remembered he or she has those tickets, and knew inside, not good, not good. Well, if you have that instinct, that's because the Holy Spirit's put it there. And granted, I admitted, because of that warning I had, I take it very extremely. I mean, I am like when I got that card that had that image that the New Age people use of that angel, Uriel was called, and just how it was drawn. I knew New Age, that was a New Age image, and I burned it. But I have a no tolerance for New Age because of the warning God gave me years ago. It was just that strong. And so anyway, I suggested burn the tickets and even match the money spent for those tickets and give it to the poor. Somebody out on the street or a family that needs money. Let me see if this is still going because Lovey just hit the keyboard. Yes, it is. With his paws. He does that because he wants attention. So I told you guys about what happened to one little doggy. Be good. No. Choke. Not a good choke. Not good at all. Anyway, the woman, she was put in jail. And I don't think she had the money to bond out either. I don't remember that detail. But, so that's what I recommend for the quiet hermit. And also losing that money plus giving the same amount to something deserving, or give it to some good cause, cancer research or St. Jude's Hospital for Children, cancer research or something for children, or what's the other one? Hospital for Children. I forget, there's another one that does good work for children. Anyway, then that would double commit, and it would be a strong reminder, and making reparation even, to double it. Lose the money plus give the same, and have the ashes be his prayers. And also makes a strong, firm statement to the devil that you can't get me, even though tempted to think I can't lose those tickets. But yes, you can. And the woman with her dog, as awful as it was to not get on that flight, for whatever reason she had to get on, but had she even told someone, or I don't know, or even just let the dog run loose, maybe. But they said she was distraught when she wasn't allowed to board. So there was some reason, and she didn't look like she looked very poor. So it's, compassion. God has compassion on us. But when we persist and when we go ahead and do something that even the Holy Spirit is telling us inside, don't, with a funny feeling. See, then we get ourselves in deeper. Then the devil has a grip on us. And then and knows the devil will try other things, and knows that we'll just come up with justifications as to why we need to. Instead, we need to come up with other things to fulfill the need or the desire to hear music that is, it comes from early rites, maybe pagan, even dances, and the sound and the drumming and all, but has been put to Christ, put to God, taken out of pagan rites and New Age and given to God. So that's a win-win. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Hope it's a Lenten uplift for us, that we do have options. We do have options. And to not let the devil trick us with justifications or feeling like, well, I can't waste those tickets. And it's not good. I realized when I first thought, well, just sell them to some, go online, sell them. I thought, no, you don't want anyone else. That's even worse, to put someone else in the position of getting into New Age and tantalized by it, tempted and drawn in. Because it's a hard thing to get out of a lot of people. It's like anything else, any other sin. We're all sinners. And we can get, once that path is made, and the more we walk on that path, that it can become an addiction or a draw. Harder and harder to stop it. So, and Quiet Hermit had stopped it, except for these tickets. So, anyway, just an example, and I hope Quiet Hermit hears this, because this is what I came up with from praying about it last night and this morning, and I listened to the several different online on YouTube, different portions of masses in different countries in Africa, the Congo, and is there Zimbabwe and Nigeria, different ones of their masses, and the singing and the choirs and the it's just beautiful. And actually, that I didn't feel any of my pain then either. And I listened to different ones for over an hour late last night, and I actually slept very well. So that's something I'm going to keep in mind, because there is something about the music and the emotion and love and joy with which they sing and dance and put their whole selves into it. And I don't know what this bird call, kind of a high-pitched, like that. I won't try to imitate it, but it was very guttural and what would you say? Just letting loose, being just oneself, one's basic cry, a human cry. It sounded like that was unrepressed. It was just great. I would have trouble doing it. I'm so uptight. I'm very self-conscious, but I would probably give it a try for you, but I'll spare you. They do it much better. God bless His real presence in us. And these two have been really trying my patience today. So I think I better take them and have a run. Then maybe I can come back and get some rose bushes cut down. This is partly my challenge now, is to do what they need. And I can do it. I can do it. It's sort of cold out, but I'll manage. It's not far of a drive. So, gotta do what they want. God bless you all, and God love us all. This is all part of our holy narrow pathway. The devil will reach in and give us temptations. And he also puts these thoughts in our minds, our justifications as to why we'd better do it just this once, It's always that. The devil's tricky.